Greetings, friends. My name is Jan Nel, and I'm bringing you a teaching out of Ecclesiastes chapter 3 regarding the various times and seasons in which we live. Solomon mentions that there are at least 14 different types of experiences in life that we go through. Well, the sad part is that our society on the whole has never taught us how to prepare for the upcoming changes of life. Although they're inevitable, and there are a number of them that I'm going to enumerate for you just now, we need to be ready to face what is coming. We need to know that we're stepping into one experience to another and to another throughout our adult life, and we need to know how to cope with each one. We need to know how to function in each one. Proverbs chapter 4 verse 7 says, whatever you get wisdom. And then it says, in all you're getting, get understanding. Wisdom and understanding for facing life is critical, absolutely critical. This is where we get hurt. This is where we get beaten. This is where we don't get what God has got for us. If we don't have wisdom, we don't have understanding. Well, you know, if you're not ready to face life's joys and challenges, you're not ready to face its opportunities and threats, and the blessings and the costs, then we're behind the game, not ahead. And so I want to help you to make the proper preparation for these things in your lives. Now, there are at least 10 experiences, seasons, let's call them life seasons, that adults go through. I've named, first of all, the entry into college. Second is entering your vocation, your occupation. The third is entering into marriage. The fourth, of course, is then children. The fifth is teenagerhood, the change of your children from one level of relationship to another, so that they move from being dependent to independent. The Jews have it by the age of 13. They do a bar mitzvah or a bat mitzvah, and the child becomes recognized as an adult. And that is a totally separate time of life. And then, of course, comes the next one, which is empty nest, when the kids leave home and you and the partner are left to be with each other. If that's not well prepared for, then you've got real challenges. And then, of course, there are job and home changes that come. You can change countries, you can change cities, you can change jobs. These are big seasons. They require preparation. And, of course, the next one is old age. Just getting ready for old age. You know, the whole understanding of what is coming in old age, how you should treat yourself, how you should understand the things that go on around you. I'm getting near old age, so it's a humorous thing for me. Then, of course, number 9 is retirement. When a man or a woman finishes what they've done their whole life and now moves into something different. It can be very, very difficult if not well prepared for. And then, of course, finally, the one we don't want to talk about, but it is inevitable, and that is death. When you lose someone, or you yourself are facing death, how to cope with that, how to deal with that. And so I want to teach you on these things, but to be able to start teaching you well, I need to make sure you understand at least 5 simple questions, life questions, that we all internally need to get answers to. Men and women all over earth, all over history, have asked these 5 questions. They are critical questions because they determine how you face life. They determine how you view life. They determine how you view yourself. And so the very first question is, who made me? In other words, where do I originate from? When I figure that out and I realize God made me, it gives me a sense of belonging and reality. People who don't know where they came from. You think you're a salamander that crawled onto a rock and, well, that gives you no confidence that you are part of a massive plan, that your Father made you and He loves you dearly. So who made me? Who am I? This speaks into my identity. If I haven't clarified my identity, Moses in Exodus chapter 4, God comes to him and speaks to him in the burning bush. And he says, I want to make you a deliverer. And he turns to God and he says, who am I? The question of the ages. Knowing your identity, knowing how precious you are, that you were made in the image of God, is really critical. Well, what is my purpose? Is the third one. And this asks, what is my mission and my assignment? Why am I here? What is my purpose? Number 4 is, what is my potential? I love that one, and because this asks what I am capable of accomplishing. So the last is, what is my destination? Where am I going? What is going to have been accomplished by the end of my life? What is the dream I have? How big is that going to be? Where is it going to spread to? These are vital questions that all have to be answered, and we all have to understand at least the first 3. I've observed that if we have not got the first 3 at least clear in our mind, then a major change in life, a major seasonal change, can play havoc with us, because we haven't clearly defined who is for us, who we are, and what our mission on earth is. Those 3 things are critical. And so when we live life without those things settled, there's this underlying feeling of frustration, feeling of, I haven't got to where I want to. It doesn't matter how much money you make, doesn't matter how big your income, doesn't matter how fancy your houses, doesn't matter how you've traveled in life. If you haven't figured these 3 things out, there is always a sense of lack of identity, lack of value, lack of purpose. And those need to be settled. Well, entering into new seasons of life might seem thrilling. It might be really exciting, for instance, to leave school and go into college. It's a thrilling experience, but it has its challenges. Entering a new vocation, fantastic. Getting married, buying a new home, having children. These things are tremendously exciting on the whole. But when we change from one season to another, it really requires 3 simple approaches. Number 1, we need to carefully give thought to what we're about to enter into. We've got to give thought to what is it going to look like for me to bring up this child. Number 2, there needs to be a focus on understanding. You've got to, as I said earlier on, in all you're getting, get understanding. Make sure you understand the complexities, the blessings, the joys, whatever it is, but make sure you've taken the time to figure it out. And then, of course, thirdly, is make sure that you've prepared. You've done a preparation process. Sadly, most humans have not done some systematic reconnaissance and questioning regarding the varying aspects and challenges of the upcoming season they're about to face. As a result, life can blindside them. On top of this, not understanding the stresses, the demands, the emotions, the complexities, the challenges of the upcoming season can leave us frustrated at best, depressed at worst. No plan. Being a new mom, for instance, let me explain, can give one a tremendous sense of accomplishment, joy, awe, and so on. But if you haven't figured out the emotional attack on identity and purpose that comes with children. Life is not your own. You are not in control. You can't do what you always did. You can't go where you always went. Life has now totally changed. Never mind the time factor of how busy you become and how little you can plan for yourself. It can turn on you, and you can start to get this gnawing feeling that you are treading water. If you don't understand that it's just a season. And so many people live within the season and don't plan for the next one. When the kids are now going to become teenagers, how are you going to live? When the kids are going to leave home, how are you going to live then? Another example would be empty nest. Empty nest is a time when children leave home and there's all the hustle and bustle of kids disappears. And you get, you find yourself in a position where it's just you and your partner. Normally. And you look at each other, and if there has been no planning, please listen to me. If there's been no thought and understanding, this might seem thrilling, but being unprepared has a price. The feeling of loneliness, frustration, misunderstandings, etc. can easily result. A husband has always had his job, the wife has always had the kids, and all of a sudden he continues with his job and she is left hanging in the air. And so there needs to be careful thought as to what's going to happen when the whole structure of the home changes. Are you going to downsize? You need to plan all those things. Otherwise you live life on the run. And those... You know, it's Benjamin Franklin that says this. He says, if you fail to prepare, you prepare to fail. We don't want to be like that. So arm yourself with this confidence. I don't want to be negative, but I want to encourage you a little bit. Arm yourself with this confidence that the scriptures bring. Philippians chapter 2, verse 12 and 13 says, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling, because it is God who is working in you, both to will and work according to his good pleasure. Proverbs 3, verse 5 and 6 says, trust in the Lord with all your heart, lean not on your own understanding, in all your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your paths. He will direct your paths season to season throughout your life. Hebrews 13:5 is one of my favorites, of course. It says, I will never, no never, no never leave you or forsake you. I will never, never, never leave you nor forsake you. I'll never move away from you, and I will never desert you. Never leave you nor forsake you. And Ephesians 3:20 says, now unto him who is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all you can ask or believe, imagine, all you can ask or imagine, according to the power which works within you. We have an ally. We have a partner. We have God in us, our Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, who are with us every single moment of the day to help us. That's why Christianity is such an amazing thing. I've got to be careful. I'm going to go so long. Well, I want to come to the place where I tell you how to prepare for these new seasons.